Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Teen Talk with Femi podcast. It's your host Oluwapelumi and I'm so happy to be here once again. A big welcome to those listening to us for the first time. Welcome to this safe space and I hope you have an amazing time with us. So last week's episode was about navigating your career path one. It was basically an introductory episode concerning today's episode. So today we're going to be delving deeper into navigating your career path. And yeah, I got like two more followers on Instagram. I just want to say a big thank you for those that followed me. And for those that are still going to follow me, please, I really appreciate it. I have a goal that I want to reach before the end of 2023. So please, my dear listeners, help me to reach that goal. And yeah, who is feeling the Christmas spirit? I'm feeling the Christmas spirit already, yeah. As you all know, Christmas is on the 25th of December. So how are you celebrating your Christmas? Any plans? Are you going out? Are you making your hair? Are you spending time with family? I want you to enjoy Christmas and remember that Jesus is the reason for the season. And this is me wishing you a Merry Christmas in advance. That being said, let's get to the business of today. So yeah, welcome guys from that short break. So today is the main. Because last week I did an introduction to today's topic. So today's topic is about navigating your career path, part two.
It's my pleasure to be here as well. Thank you for having me here.
So can you give us a brief introduction of yourself? Let the listeners get to know you. Tell us what you do, your hobbies, any fun facts about you.
Okay. Hi guys. I am Oluwapelumi Adeyemi, but you can call me Lumi. I'm the host of Life with Lumi podcast. I own a podcast as well. I am a data annotator. I'm a voiceover artist, and I'm also a public speaker. Well, I don't think I have a fun fact about me. Well, only if this will pass as a fun fact that I love the smell of rain. I love when it rains rather. The smell of rain on sand and dust it's soothing for me. So I don't know if that's a fun fact, but then I love that. So yes, that's all about me. So nice to be here. Thanks for having me, Femi.
Thank you so much. And it's nice knowing another podcaster. I like the fact that we are having a lot of podcasters in Nigeria in general. And I'm going to be dropping the link of your podcast so that my listeners get to listen to it and connect with you too. So let's get to the business of today. Can you tell us or explain what you understand by what a career is?
Okay. Basically, I would say that a career is like a path you choose to follow as you grow up and enter the professional world, basically. Um, it's all about finding what interests you, what aligns with your passion and your skills, and just going for it, literally. So now let's paint a picture. Let's say that you're embarking on a journey where you get to do something that you love to do, something that makes you happy, something that gives you positive impact. So I think that's what I would define a career as for me.
Okay, thank you so much. And looking at the world generally, looking at the society generally, what do you feel are the major issues students or teenagers face in finding their career path?
Oh, well, that one is huge because there are a lot of it. There are a lot of issues that every teenager or every student face. And I feel like at every point in our lives, we all can relate. I can relate to some of the pressures and the issues I've had to face. The issues I've had to face. So the first one would be pressure. I would say pressure from society, pressure from your parents, pressure from so many things. And that's another topic for another day because it's a big thing in this part of our world because people expect you to be what they want you to be.
Yeah.
Right. There's just this expectation in general that, oh, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do this. And then you are just there in the middle, so confused and clueless whether or not to listen to the first person, the second person, or the third. Another issue would be that there is lack of guidance. Really, there's lack of guidance. There's most times there are not enough hands or help for people that seek, knowledge. People are so confused. People are so clueless as to what they want to do, and it's really not their fault. Just because they're just there. Just like you're in a new space and you're trying to get directions, but then there is really nobody to help you. So it could be like that, and that's actually really bad. Yeah, lack of guardians. And I mentioned the first one. There is pressure. There's pressure from parents, pressure from society, pressure from friends, even pressure from yourself, pressure that we put on ourselves, pressure to you know not to make the wrong decisions. There's that fear in general that you don't want to make the wrong decision, you want to do the right thing. So like it gives you pressure, and then you get overwhelmed, and then you're just lost in between, and you find it difficult to navigate your career path. So those are the issues I can think of right now.
Thank you so much. In the aspect of, you mentioned something about lack of guidance. So how
Yeah.
do you advise, so for example, now let's say I have passion for medicine. I love studying medicine. I would love to go into that career path. How will you advise me? Who are the people you advise me to connect with, or who are the people you advise me to approach for guidance?
Oh, that's very interesting, because now that you've mentioned that you want to go into the medical line, that's to say that you already have a career path that you're looking at, right? There's no struggle of you contemplating on which one. So yes, that's very clear to say that you would seek advice from people in that field of your interest, people in that field of your choice. You reach out to people, seek out to mentors. You can also make research, right? I think now it is better that this is a digital world. Everything is accessible to us. You can literally send someone a DM on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and then you can get a response. So you can seek out for mentorship, to just ask questions, and then you get answers. Trust me, you get answers when you seek for questions. Sorry, seek for advice rather. When you seek for advice, or you get answers. You can also make your research in that field. Make your research particularly to that thing. You can also reach out to gain experience. Yes, in that field, you can reach out to gain experience. What I mean by gain experience is you seek opportunities like volunteering. That's like an open door. That's a part that can open door for you to get yourself into that space, to
Yeah.
be sure whether this is what you want to do or not. So that's another aspect that can help you if you are looking at going to the medical line. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge on that. And I also like to ask you to expatiate more on mentorship, because I feel most people don't really understand what that mentorship means. Because most times you hear people saying, okay, I like the way this person is my mentor. Okay, I like the way this guy is acting in this film. Okay, this person is my mentor. Okay, I read this book and I like the way the person wrote it. Okay, this person is my mentor. So how do you advise someone in finding the right mentor? Because I feel people get confused in that aspect.
Okay, if I heard you correctly, you said that what's the concept of mentorship? For me, I believe that mentorship is what you see it as, right? Some people have mentors from afar. Some people have mentors in like within their close space. But then if you see someone that is doing so well in something that is of interest to you, and you pick, their lifestyle, you pick their habits. Well, firstly, I would say that you have to filter it. It's not everything that the person does that you have to do, right? But then pick out the positive impact, the positive habits, those positive things that excite you about that person, and try to work on them, right? But for me, I believe that if you're going to have a mentor, the mentor has to be someone that you can be accountable to. Because I really don't believe in having mentorship from afar, right? There's a place of accountability where you ask questions, you seek advice, they give you feedback, they track your progress on whatever thing you're doing. So I feel like that's the best way to go about mentorship. But then if you have a mentor from afar, the best you can do is to pick up the positive, you know, habits, impacts, and not what's the word now? not following through every single thing they do, because no two persons are the same. Whatever thing that worked for your mentor might not work for you, right? I hope you get it, Femi.
Yes, I get it.
Yeah, so that's the best way to go about it, literally.
Thank you so much, because even me, I've been so confused about that whole mentorship thing, and I'm happy you were able to do justice to that aspect. So now down to the main question of the day. How do you navigate your career path? What are the tips or guidelines you advise someone to follow in navigating their career path?
Okay. To navigate your career path, firstly, I would like to say that it is not a one day thing. It is actually a process and it's a journey. And then you can start the first process, or the first step literally, is to explore your interests. You have conversations with yourself to say, what do you like doing? Ask yourself questions. What do you like doing? What excites you? What interests you? What field do you see yourself exploring in years to come, in months to come? Do you see yourself doing this or that? When you have those honest conversations with yourself, then I think it will give you a sense of direction on the next thing to do, right? Which to be that you seek for help, you seek for mentorship, you seek for guidance, you ask questions. After you'll be able to answer yourself first, then you also have questions, right? So the next step rather is to reach out to people, like I've said before, reach out to people in that field,
Mm.
So they give you a clear picture. Why? Because those people are already experienced ahead of you. They know better than you do. They are able to answer some questions and some doubts that you might not be so clear on, right? So yes, that's the next thing to do. Then this also takes us to saying that you gain experience, get involved, try to get yourself involved in that field. You don't just say you want to go into this career path and then you're just maybe reading on it. You have to experience it, have your own hands-on experience to see if this is truly what you want to do, right? And it will also help you to get the conviction that you need, whether or not you are clear that this is it. But I would like to tell you that it is possible that you might have multiple interests, right? Everybody can actually relate. If not everybody, at least most people can relate. You can have multiple interests. Don't fret, because even as you grow, you evolve. So learn, like, be open to change, be open to experiencing. You might love this thing today, you might be interested in this thing today, and then in 2 years to come, you've evolved from that thing. So be open to change, right? So it will also help. And another way we can use to navigate your career path is to seek God's help. Seek God help. Like, I mean, you can just talk to God. You that's the one thing that has actually worked for me, and I would recommend for any other person. Seek God's help. Talk to God. Ask God. I mean, ask him what he wants you to do, and he would direct your path really on that. And I just hope that you got my point.
Yes, I did, and I really hope my listeners did too, because these guidelines are so explanatory. And the one that stood out to me is seeking God's help, because that is like the overall and the most important, because you really can't say that
Right.
you want to do this particular career and you don't have God in it. It's just like a waste of time, so to say. So
Exactly.
God's help, having God's presence in every single thing you want to do really matters. Thank you so much for that. So there is this issue that I've always been seeing, and I'm always wondering what causes it. The fact that most people, they end up, you hear stories of them studying something they did not intend to study, and they're like, okay, it's their parents that told them to study this particular thing, and then they study, come back with their certificate, give it to their parents, then go back to school to study what they
Wow.
actually wanted to study. So in such a case, what
Yeah.
do you advise such person to do? Because there is a conflict that, okay, I don't want to disobey my parents, yet I want to study what I want to study. So what do you advise such person to do?
Okay, so in that case, that's sorry, that's what brings us back to the pressure part that people get to face when they're trying to navigate their career. And then this is common. I mean, we have these stories, and it's very sad, because how do you expect me to go to school to do what I don't want to do, and then I come back to give you a certificate, and then go back. I mean, that's waste of years, really. So for any other person that's in that like space that is, try not to repeat that same mistake or have that kind of experience with themselves. The best thing, right? Really, it's a lot, right? But the best thing is to make sure that you explain yourself to your parents.
Yeah.
I know there's this thing about African parents. You want you to be a doctor, they want you to be a lawyer, white collar job, this and that. But really, I feel like if only parents can give ears to people, to their children, to listen to what they actually want to do, to save a lot of time, it would help a lot. So for that kind of person, right, have conversations with your parents. It can be hard, but then you just have no choice than to do that. Have conversation with your parents. And okay, so if it now falls to the place where your parents still are adamant and they don't want to agree to your point of view, and you are left with the decision of going to school to study what they want you to study because they're the ones sponsoring you. Well, I feel like although it's not fair, but then you might just have to do it and also do well at it, right? Don't make the mistake of going to school to study what your parents ask you to study and then do badly. You never can tell what opportunity waits for you, right, in future. So do well at it while you're also taking time to explore your own interests. It can be really hard. I can't relate to. I can't say much about it, but picturing it now, it's really tough, right? But the best thing is whatever thing you do, whatever thing your hand finds to do it well, while you also take your time to, maybe on the side, you can just dabble into the thing that you love doing. And you might end up seeing that at the end of the day, you might not need to go to school again to study, what you want to study. I don't know if you're getting this, because sometimes you might study law, but then someone might study law and then move or transition into entertainment industry, and then doesn't have to go to school to study um theater or media art and stuff. Do you understand? So in that kind of situation, it's just best that you make sure you just prayerfully do it. Really, it's not easy. It's really hard, and I just hope that African parents just see this perspective that not everybody's got to be a doctor, not everybody's got to be a lawyer. Let your children do what they want to do and to save a lot of lives.
Thank you so much. So the last thing for today, I would like you to share your experience. I mean, your career journey, right from deciding the career you wanted to do. Tell us your journey, secondary school, university, and how it is now. Share your experience.
Okay, all right. Mine is very interesting, if I must say, because right from secondary school days, I knew that I didn't want to go to the medical or science field. So I knew that I was going to go into the arts class, but I did not want to study law. I mean, it was that solid. When every other person would say that they wanted to study law, I knew that I didn't want to study law. I felt like it was too probably too heavy for me. I just wanted something chilled, right? And not like if I did law, I wouldn't do well. But still, I just knew that I didn't want to do law. So we got into art department and I, went through the whole thing. And I studied mass communication, by the way, which is very interesting. It's what I love doing. I enjoyed it so much. So it wasn't so much of a struggle trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I just knew that I wanted to do something else other than art class or law, but I knew I was even going to go to the accounting field. So I studied mass communication, which is, the best decision basically, and I've enjoyed it so far. So now coming out of uni, I have a podcast, so I'm still in line with my field, my media field, right? But now I'm into tech. I've transitioned from, media space to tech, but I'm not still saying that I don't participate in that, because it is something that interests me. Media. I'm a journalist. I'm a voiceover artist. I'm a podcaster. All of that is still under the media and journalism umbrella, right? But then I've transitioned into tech. What I'm trying to say is that over the years, I've had to like evolve. I've had to like change career. I've had to like switch from one point to another, right? So I feel like that's like everything and makes it interesting for me.
Thank you so much. So you guys, when I said Pelumi is multi-talented, I really meant it. All what she's into, and she's really excelling at every single thing. And I really wanted you to come and speak. Especially, I wanted someone who was done with school and is excelling at her career. Because I'm currently in my 4th year of pharmacy. And
Oh,
I think right from when I was a child, I was always like, I wanted to be a medical doctor. I wanted to be a medical doctor. But growing up, I had time to like think about it, and I was like, okay, let me go into pharmacy. And though it has not been easy, because
right.
I'm just like, I know they do again, no, like let me just experience that I'm not doing again. But with God's help, He has just been pushing me and giving me the strength that I need. And I feel that's what also makes people discouraged. The fact that maybe the career path that they are into is so stressful, and then they feel like, okay, I can't do this again. Let me just divert to another career.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be overwhelming, really. It can be overwhelming, and people would, every point seek for the easiest way. Nobody wants stress, nobody wants to suffer, nobody likes too much work. So let me just do what serve me and let me just do my thing and go. So that's what they
Your
need
life,
basically.
not my life.
Right.
So thank you so much. So before we end today's episode, I would like you to give us a brief info about your podcast, what inspired you to start your podcast. Let's get to know a little bit about your podcast.
Oh, okay. The name of my podcast is Life Really Me Podcast. And as you can tell by the title or the name of the podcast, really, we're just talking about life, right? I share life experiences based on my perspective so far as a young adult. Life, I mean, for me, I started my podcast because I knew that I've learned so much that I did not know I was going to learn, because nobody would prepare you for adulting, nobody prepare you for adulthood. And the shock, the whole shocker, the whole experience was a lot for me. I just felt like I know that so many people can relate, and I just started my podcast. Also, I wanted to, be able to reach out to people, teenagers basically, and upcoming adults to, if my own experience can actually serve as help for them to navigate life better. So yes, Life with Lumi podcast is that space where life gets better just by hearing Lumi talk. So yes, that's it basically.
Thank you. You have earned yourself a listener, by the way, because I think an amazing job with your podcast. I've gone to your Instagram, I've checked your content, and I must say a big well done, because it's not easy. Because most people
Right.
podcasting is just to stay on your phone and just talk.
Oh my god.
But it's not that easy, honestly. And
Right.
I say a big thumbs up to you. Well done. And God is definitely
Yeah.
taking it, and I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much, Nifemi. Thank you.
And so, do you have any special advice for our listeners? It can be relating to the topic of today's episode, or it can be any special advice.
Well, so if there's one thing I would love to tell every other person is that you cannot do life alone. You cannot do life alone. So it is best that you hold on to God right now so that the journey is easy for you. Really, adulting is a lot. Is really a lot. And you don't want to faint on the road. So please hold on to God as much as you can, and it will make the journey very easy for you. So that'll be all.
Thank you so much for that. And it's a wrap, guys, on today's episode. I really hope you are able to gain one or two from this episode. And thank you so much, Pelumi, for this opportunity. I'm so glad that you took out time.
Thank you for having me, for me. It's my pleasure, really. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, bye, guys. I love you guys so much. But remember, God loves you more.